It has been a couple of months since I uploaded my Bhutan part 1 review, and because of obvious reasons, work just keeps piling up and it is difficult to find time always. But I'm back with the part 2 of the review. In the last review, we talked about some of the prerequisites of getting into Bhutan if you are an Indian national, and I also touched upon, or if you are not an Indian national, some of the things that you might need to do. And we talked about the paperwork that needs to be done and all of those things, and of course, how you can get that SIM, local Bhutanese SIM, and how you can get your vehicle to Thimphu and such. So today we are actually going to talk about the different tourist spots that Bhutan has to offer. And I have already said this, that Bhutan is a beautiful country and everybody should be there at least once in their lifetimes if they love traveling. So we covered Thimphu and Paro, which are the two main the cities and towns of Bhutan in terms of tourism. There are other places like the Ha Valley, Punakha, and Bumthang, but we didn't have time to visit it at that time. But next time we will definitely cover those areas. So first we traveled from Phuentsholing to Thimphu. It took us around 9 hours because we have to travel through mountain roads, and we started in the late afternoon. Once it gets dark, once the evening comes down, it is hard to drive fast in those roads. So if you can start early, you might reach Thimphu in within 6 to 7 hours easily. We were staying at a hotel called Khamsum Inn. It's a beautiful hotel, great amenities, great facilities, and lovely polite staff. You can the price was reasonable, and it is one of the best hotels I have ever stayed in, so I can highly recommend that hotel. And there are many tourist spots in and around Thimphu, and it will take you at least couple of days to absorb all of them properly. I'll start with the Memorial Chorten because that was the place we went first. Chorten means a monument, so it's a memorial monument over there. You can see that. You can get to the Clock Tower Square, which is the center of the busiest part of Thimphu and maybe of Bhutan. So you will definitely enjoy just roaming around there, having grabbing something to eat. Then you can move towards the National Folk Heritage Museum. The museum houses some of the older things that villagers might have used, their tools and their daily the things of their daily lives before the advent of technology, maybe in the late 20th and early 20 this 21st century. And pictures are not allowed at that place. So the entry fee is 30 Indian rupees or 13 Nol drum. And one of the main attractions for me at the National Folk Heritage Museum was their cafeteria. The cafeteria offers a traditional Bhutanese meal at 300 rupees, I believe, and it is a traditional meal with all of the stuff, with all of the starters, main course, and the drink, and it is served in beautifully curved wooden bowls and wooden plates. So if you want a taste of how traditional meal Bhutanese meal should taste and look like, you should definitely be there. There is a Takin Preserve. It is in Motithang, and the Takin Preserve houses Bhutan's national animal, the Takin. That's all there is to it about it. The entry fee was 100 rupees, which was a bit on the higher side. But then again, I don't think Takins are found abundantly throughout the world. So you are getting to see a completely new species. So that is a money well spent, I would say. The Royal Botanical Garden was there. I think it was founded a couple of years back on the 60th birthday of the Bhutan's fourth king, and it is still not completed. So there are certain things that are not there, but it is still a beautiful place to visit. The entry fee is 50 rupees or 15 dram, but we reached at around the lunch time, so everybody had gone for lunch. Nobody asked for money from us, and by the time we took a stroll and left after let's say 45 minutes, nobody was still there to collect the fees from us. So actually we got to enjoy the Royal Botanical Garden for free. Then you have the Thimphu viewpoint, of course. It's a place somewhere up the hill, and once you stand there, you get a beautiful view of the Thimphu city, the surrounding areas, the mountains, the paddy fields, and everything. And also there is another viewpoint called the BBS Tower viewpoint. From there you get two special things. First of all, you get to see the houses of all four queens of Bhutan's fourth king, and secondly you get to see the all 20 houses of Bhutan's 20 heads of districts. They together, stay nearby each other in 20 houses, and you can cover all of them from this particular viewpoint. We went to a monastery called Dechen Monastery, or Dechen Phodrang, Phodrang meaning monastery, and we talked to some of the monks over there who teach students at that monastery, and it was a beautiful experience. The monastery is located at a beautiful place, and the view is wonderful from there. View from the top of the hill is wonderful, and they told us that almost every day at around 4 or 5 in the evening there will be a rainbow in the sky, so they will all gather around in the field in front of the monastery and enjoy the view. So we are offered tea and some snacks over there, and we were lucky enough to be part of one of the Buddhist religious rituals, the chanting and the whole thing. So it was a beautiful experience. You have the Bhutan Royal Library of Bhutan, of course, in Thimphu. The Royal Library of Bhutan has 4 floors. The bottom floor or the ground floor has books about different stuff, and most of them are written in Zonka. You also have that Zonka to English dictionary and such. And the top 3 floors are mostly filled with ancient Buddhist texts and Buddhist sutras, and some of the books are very old. So as you can just tell by looking at them. And the library also has some old and rare pictures of Bhutan's first king, Bhutan's second king, black and white pictures of the tourist spots that you are visiting right now. I mean, how they look like in 1960s and 1970s and so on. And the library's main attraction is a 6 or 7 feet book. Means when the book is opened, the width is around 6 or 7 feet. It's a pictorial book called Bhutan in Pictures, and it is kept within a glass case, so you can see that. Near to Bhutan, you have the Simtoka Zong, which is one of the oldest zongs in Bhutan. And once you visit there, pictures are not allowed inside the zong, and you also get a taste of the Buddhist rituals and the Buddhist culture. And the Simtoka zong is well protected by Bhutan police, so you have to show your identity cards and passport numbers and all before you get to enter the Simtoka zong. Also, if you are in Thimphu, you must visit the Sangangkha Lakhang. Sangangkha Lakhang is the oldest Buddhist temple in Bhutan. So once you go there, you will find out why. Because all of the statues and architectures are extremely old, and you will find some old people actually making rounds of the temple because they find it holy, and they think it is good to make rounds of the temple, one round after the other. And I asked someone, and she was actually on her 85th round of the temple, and it is not a very small temple. So that is Sangangkha Lakhang for you. On the way to Paro, you will find a bridge. That bridge is right above where the Paro River and the Thimphu River meet. It's called Chuzam, Chu meaning water and Zum meaning Chu meanings are iron, and Zum meaning water. So it's a iron water. And once you stand there, and it is called the Indo-Bhutan friendship border, and once you stand there and you take in the beauty of two mountain rivers merging together and then flowing as one, and the breeze and the view of it, it's simply breathtaking. You can stand there for hours and not do anything. We traveled from Thimphu to Paro in a cab. The cab should not take more than 800 rupees. That was the standard rate, at least in 2016. And in Paro is a smaller town. Compared with Thimphu, Paro is much smaller, and it's a small town. So you can take a whole round of the town on foot within half an hour, 45 minutes max. We stayed at a resort called Rema Resort. It's a bit far from the main town, about 15-20 minutes walk. The resort was on top of a small hillock, and unfortunately, it was not up to the mark if you compare with Khamsumin, and it was not up to the mark if you compare with most of the hotels. There was not proper lighting in the room, and it was cold, so there was no heater system. There was no hot water. The bathtub was not as good as we'd have expected. The hotel was locked out in the night, so if you wanted, you could not take a stroll in front of the lawn, hotel at the lawn. So we were not really satisfied with the hotel, but we didn't have any option because we had already booked it. Now, in Paro, there are 5 to 6 tourist spots that you should not miss. And the first one, and the most difficult one that probably everybody knows and probably everybody checks out when they are planning to go to Bhutan, is called Taksang Lakhang. And it's a monastery called Tiger's Nest Monastery. It was said that the person who founded this monastery arrived on the back of a tiger. That's why it's called Tiger's Nest Monastery. It's on top of a hill. In fact, I should not even call it a hill because it is much higher than that. It is 10,000 feet above sea level. So you have to start climbing or trekking at around 8 or 9 in the morning. The earlier you start, the better, because the weather is cold at that time, and it takes you easily 5 to 6 hours to go up there, visit the monastery, and come back down. And if you are in the habit of trekking regularly, still it should take you at least 4.5 to 5 hours. And it took me exactly 6 hours. I started climbing at 9 o'clock and I came down at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But once you reach there, it is very painful, but once you reach there, it is totally worth it. And one of the best things about this climb is that once you make it to the monastery at the top, it gives you a sort of confidence, a confidence boost, that no matter what challenges come your way, you can actually deal with them, because that climb is so hard and you have made it. That's enough for you to keep going for months. Whenever something comes up your way that is not actually favorable to your current situation, you can just think about, well, I did that and I did not think that would be possible. Now what is this challenge? I think I can deal with this as well. So that's what at least happened to me, and probably that has happened to other people as well. And it is a very old monastery, as they say. It has Buddhist statues of Lord Buddha. It has statues of Guru Rinpoche and Guru Rinpoche's different avatars. So you go there, inside the monastery, your phone is not allowed, your camera is not allowed. So you have to leave, your purse is not allowed, so you have to no purse, sorry, purse was allowed, I beg your pardon. Your camera and camera phones are not allowed. So there is a locker at the foot of the monastery, because within the monastery also you have to climb a lot of stairs. At the start of the stairs, there are some lockers that you can take, and then you can just deposit your stuff, take the key, and go up and visit the monastery. One important thing is that this monastery is also closely guarded by Bhutan police, and they will ask for your documents and identification and everything. I did not take all of that with me because I did not assume 10,000 feet above ground I'll be needing those. I left those in the car. So if you are visiting, make sure you are carrying your entry permit, your passport and such. They did allow me entry, but they might not. So you should better be careful. On the way to the monastery, on the way to the Tiger's Nest Monastery, there you have the Kichu Monastery, which is a 7th century monastery, and you have a zong. It's called broken zong. It's called broken zong for a good reason, because there are only few broken walls. It's not an active zong, and when we went there, there was some renovation going on, so there is not much to see there. Kichu Monastery is splendid to look at. It's just amazing. All the colors, and the pathway to the main monastery is covered in flags. You can just stand there and enjoy the view. It's like any other monastery. It has two different prayer rooms. One of them has Guru Rinpoche in there, and another has future Buddha. If I remember correctly, there was an orange tree in the vicinity of the monastery that I really enjoyed looking at. And of course, they have the monies that the Buddhist people will turn in order to offer their prayers to Lord Buddha. So that is Kichu Monastery. And you in Paro, you also have the Paro Zong, which is just at the edge of the town. You can just visit that anytime you want. And you have the national museum, Royal Museum of Bhutan, but unfortunately that day we were in Paro, it was a national holiday, so it was closed and we could not visit. We had to leave later on. And there is the Rinpun Zone, which is the main official building of Paro. It's a huge building, so you are not allowed inside or nearby, but you can just stand nearby on the hill road, and you can take pictures and such. And there is a yearly festival that goes on within the compounds of the Rinpun Zone. So if you are in Bhutan around that time, probably you will be able to join. And I think I missed one tourist spot of Thimphu, that is the Buddha Dardanno. It is the highest statue of Buddha in Southeast Asia. It's huge. You can see it from miles away. In fact, you can see it from most parts of Thimphu. Every morning when we look through the windows of our hotel room, we would be able to see the Buddha Dardanno, and there are stairs inside that you can go in and climb up to certain height. But again, unfortunately, there was renovation going on and it was not due to be open for another week, so we could not get inside. But the view from the outside is splendid as well, because it is hard to find such big statues where you live. So if you are traveling somewhere, you expect to see things like that. Bhutanese food is very good. If you, especially if you are a non-veg eater, you can find chicken, pork, and beef everywhere. And the traditional Bhutanese dishes are called ema dasi, kewa dasi, and beef dasi, and such dasi meaning cheese, a local Bhutanese cheese that they make the food with. Ema dasi and kewa dasi are of course are vegetarian dishes. Kewa meaning potato, and the pork dasi and the beef dasi are the non-veg dishes. And traditionally they are eaten with red rice. Most of the Bhutanese restaurants you will find red rice. So red rice with any of those dishes, plus plus a cup of suja tea or butter tea is is a great meal to have actually. And I mostly had Bhutanese meal when I stayed there. But you can also get Indian food, Chinese food, and different other foods. Chicken is a little there is a little bit shortage of chicken in Bhutan, because chickens are not homegrown in Bhutan. They have to import them from India, so they are costly, and also the stocks will be limited in any of the restaurants. So, and when at the time of coming back, we first came to Thimphu from Paro, because the connectivity to Phuentsholing is better from Paro, and we could not get a place in any of the buses, so we took a shared cab that was available at around 500 per head per person, and we reached Phuentsholing by 5. And that was the end of our Bhutan trip, and it was a great trip. And I look forward to being in Bhutan again to cover the places that I have not covered this time, and I'll definitely go back. And if any of you are thinking about going to a foreign country, a beautiful country, and if you have not made up your mind, please give Bhutan a shot, because you will not be disappointed. So I'll be back with a next video in a couple of days, and I'll be reviewing my recent trip to Diu and Daman, two of the much talked about tourist spots in India, but not many people visit them. Most of the people will visit Goa, but they will not visit Diu and Daman. I visited them, and I'll review them in the next couple of videos.